blue buff here. Shun is moving over on Vision right now. Gets the ward down. There is the blue taken by Kanavi, and now he looks to try and turn this fight. In comes On, looking for the angle, but Zeus is going to get hit first, like you were saying. Knight's moving over. Blast Cone is there. He gets himself into the battle, but Zeus has the flame spitter out. The flash over, but the jump back from Kanavi. The flash taunt to come in, though, in first blood. Over to Knight. Shun gets out of there. Zeus is overheating. On is still trying to fight as Bin makes his way in. The hop comes through, but Delight is looking to try and keep them away from his teammates. Still, he's going to go down. 2-0 for BLG.
BLG strike first.
Basic maneuvers by Shun. The flash, the avoidance over the wall with the EQ as well. And the early is just losing time, losing efficiency here.
Yeah, he wants to try and go in towards mid lane, but Knight not really given that opportunity, even with Delight there, so they back away.
Ready to come out of that banana brush as they're looking for this blue buff as well. Kanavi is obviously going to fight for it as they dive over. Shattering Strike is going to connect onto On, but Shun is going to secure that blue buff. There's the taunt flash. Oh, Viper finds a petrifying gaze, immediately cuts down 2, and BLG moved to 4-0.
It's insane, the synergy. For bottom lane for Guma again.
Well, he's actually going to be supporting Viper here for what feels like the first time this game. There's another petrifying gaze, and man, is it scary.
Is On just the GOAT, okay? I mean, this Shen support is insane. River Shen into tower diving Shen. Can HLE answer?
Shun here.
Looking for a bit of an angle. Shun here for the defense. They do get the knock up onto Zeus. Everyone in the Cataclysm. The equalizer goes down, though. The flame spitter comes through. They do knock down the Jarvan. Bin trying to find a target. The crash down there to stop any sort of re-engage. But Bin gets the flash now. Finds the Rel as Kanavi needs to jump over this wall. He will do so. The house is not going to quite connect. And they go 1-for-1.
1-for-1. I mean, you still manage to get a lot of those minions under the tower as well, but Knight and On here. On's to level 5. I don't think you can go for this, can you?
Well, they're going to dash in. They double with a 5-point strike. He only needed 2 points. As Knight will be up.
Flash ult into Q for the double. Doesn't even celebrate.
No reaction.
He wants a piece. He wants another blue buff here.
Oh, Kanavi may not be able to fight for this one, but he still gets knocked up. There's the taunt, and Knight on a rampage. Absolutely perfect execution
to this tournament, and he wants to add maybe another one.
Yeah, this could be number 5 as the equalizer goes down from Zeus. He does have his teammates coming, but they're not going to be there soon enough. The Magna Storm is going to come down, but Knight gets himself out of there. Kanavi almost dies before he even gets in, as they do get the shutdown, but at what cost, ladies and gentlemen? Bin says everything.
It is a massacre. BLG have been so cohesive from the very first play of the game, going for the invade. Shun steals away their bottom side of the map. Then on the response, BLG defend better on and Knight with that early collapse. And since then, every play has been BLG.
Yeah, the Miasma just stopping Delight from being able to press any button at all, really. He does have Ghost, but that's not going to help him here as he is likely to go down. Gets the heal. Nice satchel, but it's not going to be enough. Down he will go, and Shun, he's the one to now pick up his 5th kill of the game.
Yeah, Kanavi just trying to hold on.
Oh, dear. Knight going for the 1v1. He'll find it.
I don't envy the observers here. How are you supposed to keep up with this?
Well, I mean, they're doing a pretty good job as Kanavi's going to go down as well. They knew he was about to bounce over that wall. He is going to stay alive, at least for the next couple of moments, as we toggle the vision. On is obviously hunting. And it looks like the doggo is going to slink away for now.
So it turns out BLG can also snowball very effectively against the #1 LCK team.
Well, it's also, you were talking about Alk doing an interview for LPL English. She did one with Kanavi as well. And Kanavi was talking about how he needed to be aware of how quickly LPL junglers can play the game. Like, he hasn't had that same level since coming over to the LCK. And you're kind of seeing, you know, maybe he's slightly rusty coming into this one.
Yeah, might have slowed down just a little bit. Not really been what we've assumed in the LCK. We felt like the rest of HLE kind of...
And now, this roaming style meta where he's able to be out on the map is perfect for him. And I think that's why BLG could thrive just off the back of him alone.
He's also immune to caster curses.
Keep this pressure up. And even now, like, with that push away, you still have Shun covering for Knight. He's starting to get more turret plates. Kanavi...
Yeah, I don't know what Kanavi's supposed to be able to do here as he does bounce his way out, but he's still just dead. That's a solo kill here for Shun.
Absolutely absurd. Like, Shun is just living in his jungle, and it's so incredibly difficult for Kanavi. Like, you're a voltaic cyclosword and a dream here, hoping that you can hold on to things.
I think it's a cyclosword and a nightmare, Dagda. That's what it's feeling like for me. as the Rift Herald will be thrown down here in this mid lane. That is going to get a very comfortable kill on this outer turret that's lasted a much longer time than I was expecting. Shun driving forward, a beautiful taunt. They catch Gumayusi, just the edge of the petrifying gaze. And I think that Guma was scared at the beginning of that play. Definitely was at the end after Viper got in there.
Man, the read from On right there and the fall, but he's like, you know what? I'm going to play up the Rift Herald as well. Guma's in a great spot right now to throw my flash this time. I'm not faking this time. We're going to full send. They combo again and get another kill. I mean, there are the memes. The only thing, you know, for, as we see Knight delete another.
Well, Delight is going to try and exhaust him, but even tired, Knight is very capable of just murdering Kanavi.
So there are the memes of BLG bad late game, but I think the chances.
What late game, Kirby?
Yeah, I think the chances of that showing up are literally zero this game. I think it's actually we never get there.
I think it's also when you don't really have to play macro, you just send Knight into a position HLE might be. I think it becomes a lot easier to try and do that, you know?
Yeah, I think being able to attack move is all you really need at this point in time.
It's also like, I do think BLG have this insane ability to just lock the hell in whenever they are up against some of these really top teams. And especially when you're playing against some of the guys that, you know, for Knight that denied you that golden road back in the day, like, it gets personal for these lads.
Oh, it does.
I mean, the idea of, like, play to the level of your opponents or ideally just above the level of your opponents. And here they certainly are. So game number one, of course, you know, this is
long games. Because that is very strenuous, incredibly stressful, and then the whole time you felt like you could do it, and then you're one game further away.
So right, this game they're like,
this game,
at no point did I feel like
based on what I've seen Kanavi doing, he is already thinking about what to play in game two.
Yeah, I mean the Mascot Prices moment there coming up with the Soul, but I did want to just highlight like the hunt for the golden road for BLG is massive for them. Like this was denied, but from Knight and Kanavi on JDG back in 2023 by Gumayusi and Zayas, but now they want to get a little bit more.
Yeah, Cataclysm onto only Kanavi is not exactly the target they're looking for, as Delight is just kind of dead as an afterthought. Kanavi gonna have to run the heck out of there as the Twin Fangs are being sunk in. And BLG now just knocking on the door of HLE. And HLE, I just don't think they're going to be able to. They're hiding in the attic at this point in time. They're like, you can take all the stuff. Take all the stuff. We'll just hang out here. Please.
Don't answer that door. You're not going to like what's on the other side.
No.
It's also
just over, isn't it?
Is Knight the most... okay, we got another on ult. They're going to kill someone.
Kanavi is dead, ladies and gentlemen. He's going to flash first, but then he is indeed going to go down.
Is Knight the most prolific writer of all League pros? Because he buys Medjais the most of any pro for internationals, guaranteed.
It's literally every game.
Guaranteed.
Every single game he picks it up. It's like known in China as Knight's murder book.
He's got,
like it is just, that is his thing. It's his shtick, you know?
Yeah, he does have the death note.
Well, Zeker is going to look for a bit of an angle. He does manage to buff for the ulti, but still gets knocked up. Nothing he could do. Shun able to lock down that kill as Knight gets into the back line. That is an electrocution onto Gumayusi and an execution onto HLE here in game number one. My God, it was not close as BLG just paving this road right over the top of Hama Life Esports.
BLG just not giving Hama a chance. Kanavi sent packing is nice. Looking for one more.
Yeah, he may as well see whether he dives the fountain. Not going to be the case just yet, as Kanavi is trying to tempt them into it, but the Nexus is going to be the focus here. BLG all
into scrap instead, looking to create some action. Good job pushing the Scuttle Crab top.
Yeah, I don't know about Zeker's positioning here as he's in amongst three people. Tempest goes down, and so does the ad.
Going really nice for BLG here. Turret plate money, getting the Dragon as well in trade for those grubs.
Yeah, that's why I'm keeping my eyes on the bot lane, because I'm still seeing some of those cheeky HLE wards in behind. More difficult to hit on towards Jax who can just leap strike away.
Yep, Soulflare going to connect, though. That is an extremely dead Delight. And was level 5.
And 4 people going top have been.
Yeah, there is the deadly flourish as well. The curtains are being called. He's looking for Zayas, who flashes out of the way of the public execution. Delight gets in the Hextech ultimatum to take the kill. And HLE are joining this play. They are truly overloading this top side of the map. As now looking for a turn onto Zayas, perhaps. The rest of HLE trying to now get themselves into position. It's taking them some time as the Dragon's already gone down on the other side of the map. And there is the kick flash out at Shun. Guma taken down. And on the other side of the map, he's left. Never mind, elects not to go forward.
Engage.
Now On could be in a little bit of trouble. Does have that Eclipse to make him so durable as Kanavi gets the next Cyclone to take down the support. But the Monkey will be traded for it, and Bin picks up the kill.
But it's BLG
obviously is right here as well, as the Rift Herald will be given on over, or at least forced to reset. HLE, they need to say goodbye to Zeus, but there's a deadly flourish. That's the pickoff onto On, but he buys so much time. The curtains have been called now as the bullets fly. Delight should be answered though, and Shun, so incredibly low, but is going to survive. Public execution is a little private this time. As
he got spotted.
Yeah, spotted on the Scryer's Bloom. Now looking to try and get himself out. Warrior Trickster comes through. Delight is going to try and defend. They want to save the Monkey, and it looks like maybe they'll be successful. Flash out of the way of the Solar Flare here is Zeus with the Counter-Strike and the Leap Strike trying to get himself out, but now Hextech Ultimatum to cut off Knight, and On is the one that they turn on to. The Incinerate helps grab that one, and Kanavi's even able to get out of there.
Shun kicked
Now Zeus could be in a little bit of trouble here, and by a little bit, I mean a lot. Solar Flare comes through. The layering of CC is perfect, and Knight is going to grab his second. He's coming back from it, and that is going to be that. Soul Point picked up for BLG.
For BLG, accelerated and ahead, and that's just where you want it.
And there's one turret plate on the tier 2. You have this Rift Herald to take the tier 1 in the mid lane, and now HLE trying to congregate on mass the mid, and it shuts down the potential for the 2v1 they were looking for in bot lane.
Exactly, and a bit of a Herald ride here, but it's going to be a very short one, as Gumiyushi is able to help Kanavi take that one down. Now Zeka moving towards his top side, throws the bear down.
Top side from BLG is looking pretty good.
Yeah, Weaver's Wall available here as well. There's the kickback onto Kanavi. Solar Flare going to connect onto Zeka, but only for the slow. Kanavi's still going to die though, as Shun locks that one down, as Zeka flashes over the top, sidesteps very nicely, but he's still dead, ladies and gentlemen. Bin locks it down. BLG are just so mobile, and now they're able to move over to the Baron if they'd like it.
BLG are just everywhere in this game. And the big purple worm is only going to make things worse for HLE in keeping these towers safe.
I mean, we were saying during game number 1, all right, getting smashed in the first game doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to continue in the series and you're going to get smashed again. Well, you might not get smashed in the same way,
yeah,
but BLG still are just looking so much better.
And the
It
guy
feels pretty similar, to be honest.
and the guy you tried to shut down has nearly a 2,000 gold lead, now wants to pick up Delight to really make it that much worse.
Delight gonna flash away, but Zeus may not be as lucky as Bin moving towards the minion wave. Zeus fighting against On, feeling better about that one, as Zeka is booking it towards his bottom side, throws down the bear, but Shun gets on in there. Delight finds a Hextech Ultimatum. It's taking them everything to take down Bin, and they're still not able to get it. Finally, he goes down, but at what cost, ladies and gentlemen? As Knight's able to kill Zeus as a response, another Realm Warp gets in there. Gumiyushi playing defense. He might be able to keep them alive for a little bit longer, as the threaded volley from Viper not able to do too much, and the flick back onto his former mid laner. Oh dear, HLE, I think it's all about whether they can also get themselves a reverse sweep.
It's looking that way.
It is not over just yet, as Gumiyushi's gonna have to flash and use everything to get out of the way of the Weaver's Wall.
Viper wanted to add one to himself there, but not quite able to do so. As BLG, I mean, this is so impressive. This is the BLG that we got to see domestically. That people, and even though it may be in Korea, Viper's from Daejeon. He's got that home crowd advantage still there for him.
Oh dear, there is the Dragon Soul as well.
It's only right on time.
Yeah. I think they need to do the celebrating now, because they might just plan on how to do this in the next game very soon as well, as Viper getting out of the way of Zeus the best he can. Kanavi trying to cyclone his way to safety, but everyone is getting attacked from every angle possible. And Zeus is just like, well, get me the heck out of here. Viper knows exactly where he is, throws him towards Knight. The gift that keeps on giving is BLG.
Life. And honestly, like, this is...
Viper is everywhere. Like, wasn't he just top lane? What is he doing down here?
You've got
they're catching him between the turrets in the mid lane. Zeka gonna get thrown back, delivered to Bin. Oh my goodness, that looks like a strategy people use in Co-op vs AI.
I mean, this is crazy, Atlas. The BLG are making the #1 LCK team actually look like bots.
Yeah, like they just cannot respond in time. This is unbelievable from BLG. They're now looking for this inhibitor turret in the mid lane. They're realm warping to the top lane. They are attacking every single front. And HLE just don't even really know where they're getting hit anymore. The Solar Flare going to connect onto Gumayusi. He's backing away. And at least they know that when the Nexus turrets are under fire, that is all that BLG are going to be hitting, and so they can be in the area for it.
But you've got Zhonya's, Seeker's Arm Guard, GA for BLG. You don't have to do it once, you got to do it twice to find the magic for HLE, and Bin is fishing.
Well, Zeus looking to see whether he can at least stay alive against this, but On is moving over. There's the counter-strike. Viper in a little bit of trouble. As Zeus trying to keep himself alive. Kanavi is going to be able to get out of there. The question is, can anyone else? His Delight is basically dead to start this one off. He does manage to get Viper in the back line, but that is all he's going to be able to claim. The last shot from Guma doesn't do anything at all, and he's desperately trying to defend. 2 inhibitors down at 27 minutes, and BLG, they'll just go back and spend their hordes of gold.
And HLE, they're probably already, wait a second.
Yeah, Knight in a little bit of trouble perhaps as Kanavi gets over there. Doesn't waste any time, uses the Cyclone immediately. There's the double knock-up to come on through, but Knight just kills him.
Yeah, Knight's never alone, it seems like this game. He is
Game one ending. I can't say it actually.
Don't
apparently.
be a game 2 Billy. What happens if game 3 is the exact
Game
same?
3 Stewart. Okay, well, BLG are looking for an angle, and Bin will find one, gets into the backline, eliminates Gumayusi there. Zeka died at some point in that play, but I didn't quite see it. And there is going to be the Cyclone onto Knight. He's going for it. If at first you don't succeed, you're not going to succeed in this series, as BLG will wipe them from the rift, and it feels like mercy here in game number 2, as Viper just teleports in, looks to get rid of this last Nexus turret. And gentlemen, I think this is the quickest we've made it to a match point so far here at MSI, and it's in the winners final.
I mean, the question is, what's the quick?
BLG, they want to scrap this one out.
Yep, the flash over from Kanavi is Knight trying to get out of there, does find the Solar Snare as Gumayusi, he wants to turn his attention to the mid laner of BLG. First blood as the chomp comes down. Gumayusi going to push on away. And so that will be what feels like the first Drake for HLE this series, is it? I think they did just sweep Souls in both of the first 2 games. So there's their first starting off any fights. They do get control of the Banana Brush though, but now Bin is moving in. Grand Entrance is going to come down as On is in a lot of trouble, but the Mundo is able to get on top of Shun. The kennel goes down, Shun just having to get himself out of there. Zeus dealing with the rest of them. The quickness comes through. Can On make something happen here? The answer's no, as Zeka locks down the Scorpion. The Crocodile running for the hills, and another briefcase will come on down. Kanavi distracted by a camp. In the meantime, Viper is fighting Guma, and there he sweeps him up with the Feather Reap. And Kanavi getting a little bit of damage himself. Another exhaust comes down. Feather Storm for the damage. Gumayusi tries to keep himself alive and fails at the task, and Viper will kill him in a second.
Bottom side, Lucian down here is disconnected from the rest of HLE. He's going to take a while to walk over.
Yeah, Death Ray comes down. Knight able to avoid that. This Mountain Drake taken down to 50%, but pretty durable as far as the Dragon is concerned. This Ward down to 50%, but spots Guma on his way over. And now might be HLE's turn to make something happen. Never mind, Smite comes through. Shun able to lock that one down, and they even out the Drake.
Just seed the extra Dragon.
Right, Zeus chasing after Bin, or has Bin chasing after Zeus? I think it's Zeus chasing after Bin at the moment. Kanavi's moving up. The Dominus is there, but I don't know whether Bin's going to be able to survive this one. Slices and dices, creates some space, and in comes the Stunner as well, but Zeus flashes on top of the Crocodile. Kanavi held in position and taken out as Knight looking to try and answer the play as well. On gets over here. Zeus doesn't look too worried about it just yet. Zeka's moved up, and Delight is now over the wall, able to support his Mundo.
Upside after the kill, very good for that Mundo.
Those AD carry combat summoners are fairly closely synced. Guma's barrier is going to come off cooldown a little bit earlier as they go for Zeka top.
Zeka, really nice sidestep there, is now On having to battle dance his way away, and Zeka is not afraid. The sidesteps on this man are looking fantastic. The Arcane Storm, he's ignoring the Rakan completely. Throws circles down, he's doing some Venn diagrams, but there is no Rakan included in that as Delight moves up, and HLE going to look to grab some plates.
And this is going to be the biggest difference in this game. Zeka here, he had been getting gapped by Knight in the previous games, but this game has been all Zeka. And the Victor is going to be able to get the push. They're going to be able to get this second tower actually for themselves because they already took mid lane one down and add another one to their collection.
And now it's almost like 2.5K
the
gold.
early heart steal may even try and stack it on Viper here.
Yeah, he doesn't have Featherstorm available. He does have the exhaust, but Mundo is not tired. Zeus is just walking him down. Immune to the CC and the backhand, or the back briefcase.
Of this Mundo.
Well, there's a teleport in. The Mundo is up here one more time. It's Kanavi. He is not going down to this one. The slice, the dice. Is the kennel going to be available? The flash comes through. There's no turret here, though, Ben. Where are you going? Kanavi eats him. And BLG are going to have to run away from the bottom turret.
When he finishes this Warmogs, I think basically completes everything he needs at this stage. So for HLE, they're now invading Shun. He doesn't get to enjoy his jungle anymore.
Nope, Kanavi gets to enjoy his jungle instead, comes on over and bites the Grump, and will be able to take that one down. 150 to 117, but 1.6K the advantage as HLE looking for double dragon. And as these Chemtech Drakes get stacked up, the closer to immortality Zeus and Kanavi get, if they're not there already, it's going to get kind of ridiculous. Delight is moving up here as well. He's got that fire kick as now Kanavi with Shelly over the wall. They're going to look to knock down this inner turret. They are keeping up the pace in this game. And Ben, let's see whether he can keep this turret alive. A charge is going to come through. He definitely cannot. Now, will the Dominus actually keep him alive? That's the question, as Kanavi's just beating him with a club. Slice and dice will get him out of there as Kanavi is going to take the shellfish exit. Viper is able to flash his way out. That is the smite to come through from Shun. Gets the impale over the base gate, and Kanavi will finally be shut down.
Kanavi was having a little bit too much fun. Thankfully for him, his team still got 2 extra turrets.
Fire kick going to be able to delay Shun here. They are on the Baron, as we can see. Umiushi taking a lot of damage from it as well. Relentlessly pursuing away. Not necessarily how pursuing works, but he is going to have to go back. HLE have a composition that scales beautifully. I think BLG needs some time to breathe in this one. As Zeus does about 1 trillion damage.
Because the Gumayushi wasn't there. The big, massive storm cloud is now everyone in HLE is on Baron.
Look at Zeus' health bar. That's too many.
That's a lot of bars again. Yeah. Count those bars right now.
That looks like a meter long. It's like a meter long rule. Possibly even just win the game.
Honestly, they. Okay, Shun under attack again.
Yeah, put into the kennel one more time. That is not where Scorpions like to go. As Delight, will be able to help holding him in place there as the fire kick. Zeus grabs it with a briefcase. And the Skana knew there was nowhere to go.
LPL junglers and dying for crab.
Again, speaking of health bars, here comes Zeus. And this is going to be the base broken. Gumayushi able to freely hit this turret as the Arcane Storm is chasing down BLG. Gumayushi is so incredibly far up here. He's got a lot of frontliners to stand behind. He's decided not to, as 2 inhibitor turrets are going to fall. 2 inhibitors probably to fall at the same time. BLG haven't been able to take a turret so far this game, as HLE moved to an 8,000 gold lead, 13 seconds on the Dragon, and HLE can just move back and grab it before spending their mountains of gold.
Yeah, BLG's only hope. They have to make this play now before the Dragon gets here, before that soul comes in. Otherwise, HLE will just complete.
Oh, Shun.
Oh no, the kennel is so perfectly placed. He does manage to drive through it as on with the quickness, not able to do anything as Delight just blocks it. Bin looking for a flank angle, but HLE, they picked that one up as well, and Gumayushi is just being a typewriter over BLG. Bin has to flash to get over the kennel, and now Zeus, where did he come from? Well, it is going to be Bin locking down the kill onto Kanavi. That is the smite now dead, but the top laner is also down. HLE, I don't think they're actually able to leave though, because that will mean sacrificing the Dragon. Back. Yeah. And HLE just feeling phenomenal. The Spirit Visage was completed. Zeka just bounces on top of Shun with that blast cone. And that is going to be the soul picked up. And Zeka removing the soul of Shun here in his jungle.
Yeah, Shun wanted to eat a little bit. Just a little jungle camp, please. And Knight slaps his hand away.
Well, the Milio is dead. Delight is just going to be caught backing in a place where he's not really allowed to. Zeus, as in goes Bin, trying to find a flank angle, gets a Mega Cone to get himself the heck out of there. The question is he out? The Subjugate is now running on the Renekton, is on, speaking of which, he's going to take a full culling to the face, and the Arcane Storm is just terrifying, completely blocks them off, and Zeus just walks in to 4 people and selects Viper as his target. He'll kill everyone. Gumayushi thought that he might have been able to take down the Skana there. Zeus' health bar does not move. He teleports underneath the turret. turret and will be able to take these Nexus turrets as well. Look at that health bar if you can. We need better top lane. And there's a Grim Deliverance. Spin gonna have to dash his way out of this one. The passive is stacked up. The flash in gets the knock up, and there's first blood over to Zekka, and Anka's gonna connect here as well. Is on taking the damage, but will be able to find the root. Zekka gonna have to walk out, but HLE Zeus looking for some angles towards Bin, but Bin went all out. But maybe he's going out of this top lane once again. As Zeus, the sidestep is going to mean that it's gonna be all right. He did have the passive, so he's not going down just yet. And in fact, is able to walk it off for the moment. Yeah, now Delight looking to move his way in, and the passive is gone, and so Zeus is just dead. Maybe wanted to go for a little bit more of a fight there instead, but will be going down. That is a good answering kill here from BLG.
Yeah, he gets kited out in the roam over from the rest of BLG. They get the kill. They're also going to be able to get the grubs here. Delight and Kanavi still looking at them. He wants to steal away one. He's got a smite charge.
Yeah, Anka going to connect somehow onto Knight. That was a great thread of the needle. Only level 5 Delight, though, is now on, taking a lot of damage. There's the cease and desist. True shot barrage over the top of HLE's Kanavi, trying to stay alive, but Viper comes on over to lock him down. The teleport in from Zeus. Now we know why they wanted to start this one as on, having to get out of there. Gumayushi moving up now as well. Has been in amongst the fight, but the Chains of Corruption will hold him down. He tries to get away, but the Grim Deliverance is going to come through from Zeus to block that one off. Another anchor from Delight. He is threading the needle with
try and get away from.
In the meantime, we've got another battle. As now Kanavi taking a lot of damage. Shun just walking on over. Bin going to come through, but Zeus gets to 100% kill contribution as well as kill himself. Is going to feel nice. Is on trying to get Delight out of his jungle, but that is not going to quite work.
It's not a huge amount to try and help out with 3 members of HLE here.
The thing for HLE, as Kanavi goes for it anyway.
Yeah. On taking a bit of damage. Kanavi sidesteps on those tangle bobs. Gets the Vault Breaker max range. Cease and desist. They hold him in position. The shockwave's decent, but the hook is better. Shun's still going to make his way down, though. The Grand Starfall is good for the Grim Deliverance. Looking to turn the play around. Gets the knock up on the Knight, but still, he dies. Couldn't stack it up. And now, Gumayushi turns up. Looks to get the snipe on Knight. Doesn't do nearly enough damage. And Shun picks up a double. And it's blast cones for the escape here for HLE.
BLG protect the play. HLE knew to try and jump on. HLE went for this play as good as I say that. They're moving in, but I think this dragon's gone.
Yeah, it's just going to be taken here by Kanavi.
Yeah, I mean, so much possibility of getting a good flank, but everybody's going bottom, so kind of hard to go attack Knight and even get through the brush there. And now they get a pick of their own.
The Anchor's going to miss, but the Chains of Corruption do land, and there is On going down. They'll take able to back away as Knight just deals with this top outer turret.
Yeah, BLG basically
no introduction as far as value later on is concerned. The Rift Herald is not going to do very much of anything at all as On goes maybe a little bit too deep. They do manage to take down a turret here as the Dragon is going to be secured by Shun. Looks to try and turn it here onto Delight. We need a depth charge to come through. It'll get the knock-up onto Shun as now Viper trying to play off to the side. And Zeus, can he stack up the passive this time? The answer is yes. Grim Deliverance is going to come in, but it's going to be a taxi out for Bin. They kill him, though, before he can escape. And On is thrown through the wall as Between Worlds came on down. Viper playing this one out gorgeously, though. The arcade shifts the double kill. And there's the resurrection, but where is he being resurrected to? Zeus comes up and kind of wishes he had stayed down.
BLG and then On strikes. Huge shockwave, the pop blossom to follow, the snipe onto Gumayushi with the spear.
Didn't think BLG champions did enough damage. Did you see the coach replay?
For quite some years, both in the LCK and the LPL. Too frightening. That's Azonya's fully completed here. 10 stacks on the Dark Seal. And Knight position. Kanavi going to be dancing away from him, though, and now we'll see whether Zeus can keep himself alive for long enough to get that passive back up again. The Grim Deliverance comes down. Pop Blossom going to connect, and they destroy Zeus. HLE did get one back on to On, though.
Yeah, On was stuck inside the Baron pit, and they actually do pull one back for HLE. So a little bit of room to work with as they rotate everyone mid, and we'll get the tower off that.
So honestly, HLE coming at the better for wear off of that. Sure, you do lose Zeus, but you get a kill, you get the tower, you get some much needed gold.
Even for now for HLE, Guma not in sight, so you're
isolate this Baron, make sure there is no vision as Kanavi goes in. Not sure about that one. Zeus off to the other side is making that one work, but Zeka goes between the world's Viper. Off to the side is tagged by Delight. Shun now getting taken down to the GA, and Kanavi just going to die because he doesn't have that item. Zeus should be able to use his passive to stay alive, but once again, there are a few too many people in the vicinity. He does get the ulti, crashes down on top of Shun. On is going to be executed as well, as Ben is looking for the angle. Zeka and Gumayushi still alive. Delight limping from the battle, and there is Ben taking him down. Guma will be ushered towards his inhibitor turret, but is he even safe there? There's an orb on top of Ben, making him nearly immortal, and Gumayushi will be obliterated by this Cassante. Zeka now with a couple of invaders in his house, looking to try and see whether he can get rid of them, but BLG, they just want to head over towards maybe a Baron, but they don't have a jungler.
Yeah, BLG, they will chase Guma to the ends of the earth there, inside your own base, and they finish the kill, they'll finish the tower, and they will turn to finish the job. They increase their gold lead, and they vision work that you did last time around to play off of, they can just repeat the process.
Well, they do get some information as to what's happening on this Baron, but Banana Brush control is going to be there for BLG. They are ready for the turn. Pathmaker there from Bin. The Baron down very, very low. Kanavi just not there in time. The pullback does come through, but Bin may not be the target. They're looking for Chains of Corruption. They do layer this CC onto the Cassante, but he is an absolute...
Ocean Dragon's about to become pretty useless on this poke, Faris. That poke is not going to stick around for very long, and it feels more and more like BLG are starting to punch their ticket to finals.
Yes, there is one on Zeus as well, who does clear up this bottom outer turret.
Teleport with the flank from Delight.
That is definitely an angle. Depth charge comes in, and Zeka will find it. Takes down Viper.
Again, they split push and they wait for an opportunity. Now another.
Yeah, Shockwave going to connect onto Zeus as he gets the knock-up on tonight, pulls him back. Grim Deliverance as Shun is now doing battle. Gumayushi does not want to 1v1 the Pantheon, and now he knows why. As Kanavi going to get pulled away by Bin, put down to the GA. Shun going to follow suit. Zeus is dealt with, and Bin is now just going to destroy this Vi with the help of On, who actually takes the kill for himself. BLG find the angle. And it's 25 stacks on that Magi's, man. If that orb comes in anywhere near any of these HLE members, it could just be lights out, and that Shockwave is just about back up again.
Finish that play. And now
Zeus qui veut rentrer dans le fight encore une fois, Shun qui a pris cher, Zeus qui fait plutôt une bonne entrée, Zeka qui se balade aussi, la Shockwave qui fait tellement mal. La Shockwave a fait si mal, il reste Viper, il reste Knight, il reste quasiment tout BLG malgré le burst initial. Seul le Panthéon est tombé. Zeka doit créer un miracle s'ils veulent rester dans cette game. Il essaye de TP out, il ne pourra pas, il n'y aura pas de miracle, Zeka va tomber. Nautilus aussi, il ne reste que Gumayushi face à 4 joueurs de BLG. BLG devrait s'imposer 3-1 et assurer sa place en grande finale, maintenir sa position de top dog pour le moment dans le League of Legends mondial. Cette belle équipe de LPL sur 21 des 22 kills Knight, ça va aller chercher Gumayushi, forcé au flash très très tôt. Il ne pourra rien faire face à 4 joueurs, belle ultimate cependant, mais il y a l'Oriana qui lui empêche la retraite. Et un 7e kill pour le mid laner de BLG. BLG 3-1, BLG meilleur que HLE.